Hello, and welcome to these mini Bible studies this week as we prepare for the 8th Sunday after the Pentecost, July the 18th, 2021. Today we'll be looking at a very familiar psalm and a favorite psalm for many folks. This translation might be different from the one you know or maybe memorized at some point in your life. That's okay. So don't let that throw you off if it doesn't sound exactly like you think it should sound. The context and the text is the same, just translated a little bit differently. This is Psalm 23, if you haven't already guessed. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside still waters. You restore my soul, O Lord, and guide me along right pathways for your name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup is running over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So, what to say about Psalm 23 that hasn't been said before? A noted and well-respected, published theologian by the name of Walter Brueggemann, whose books are widely read and used by seminaries and pastors of all denominations, says that commenting on the 23rd Psalm is almost pretentious. If someone of his intellect and magnitude can say that, then who am I to even attempt to lead you in today's Bible study? What could I possibly tell you about the 23rd Psalm that would make you love it even more? King David, if you didn't already know, is given credit for the 23rd Psalm. And frankly, King David is given credit for most of the Psalms, even ones he likely did not write. There was a kind of reverse plagiarism in those days, meaning people would write something and then they would attach a well-known name to that so that more people would accept it and read it and share it. These days, that would get us in trouble. I cannot write something and then tell everyone that Walter Brueggemann wrote it. In fact, my pretense would be revealed in the fact that whatever I write would not be nearly as good as what he writes. On the other hand, whoever wrote the 23rd Psalm did amazing work, which has stood the test of time and has become a favorite of many generations of people. Even people who are not religious, who do not really know the Bible, will often want the 23rd Psalm read at the funeral of a loved one. They may not know what to call it, yet they can usually come up with some of the verses or the context and enough of the words so I will understand what it is they want. That tells me the 23rd Psalm speaks to all people. even those with a less than intimate relationship with God. And it declares that God enfolds his creation so that we are all part of his flock. And this good shepherd intimately knows the sheep in all of their distinctions and differences. Each one of us is, throughout her or his life, a unique and precious possession of God, child of God, if you will. God has created all of us. God has loved all of us. God continues to love all of us, whether or not we have that close, personal, intimate relationship or not. This psalm appeals broadly across cultures as well. Historically, there were other religions, there were other nations at the time of the writing of this psalm that used similar language, which that should not really surprise us, because the imagery appeals to all people. Imagery like lying down in green pastures, lying down beside still waters, finding rest for our weary souls, not fearing evil because we are under the protection of a powerful shepherd, sitting down to a table, a feast, a banquet, being anointed, being chosen, experiencing overflowing abundance, a lifetime of goodness and mercy, and an afterlife in the home of our God. How could that not appeal to everyone? The author of today's psalm, being well aware of the broad cultural background, is making an affirmation of his own faith. The Lord. Not a foreign god, not a foreign king, not a foreign political power or ruler. The Lord, Yahweh, is the only true shepherd of each and every Israelite. We who are Christians, we hear this psalm now as a kind of a creed, spoken in the midst of our own culture with all of its earthly leaders and self-named gods that can never be the shepherd king of the 23rd Psalm. This most precious of personal psalms is about both our individual journeys and the journey of the people of God. Even though the language is in the first person singular, this is also a psalm that draws community together. It teaches us that God is personal in our own relationship with God, yet we cannot take possession of God to exclude those that we may not like or we may not agree with. The pathway on which God guides us is for God's name's sake, not ours. And that imagery applies to us as individuals and as a congregation or a denomination or a national body or a world. We are called to follow the path of God's righteousness. Thank you for joining me again today as we talk a little bit more about this most familiar psalm. If you wish to leave a comment or a thought or a concern or even a question, please do so in the comments section below this video. I hope you're having a great day. Take care. God bless.